Well, after I've decided to take my long nap, it's finally time to talk about Rock Dog. This was a movie I had absolutely no idea was released in theaters. I knew it was real, but I didn't know it was released in theaters, and for a limited time. And that's kind of understandable because this is one of the most blandest movies that I have ever seen all year round. In China, there's this family of dogs who have to defend these sheep from these dangerous wolves, and the father, named Kanpa, is trying to train his son Bodhi to do this job, but Bodhi's the kind of dog who's not fit for this kind of job and wants to become a musician. So one day, a radio literally falls out of the sky from a plane, and Bodhi eventually meets this English star named Angus Scattergood. Afterwards, Bodhi decides to travel to this metropolis-like city in order to pursue on his dream of becoming a rock god. Okay, first off, the story's really confusing and all, but why the hell are there all of these technology-related things in ancient Tibet? There's this big city that's literally right next to it, there's these radios, there's these phones, there's all these modern technology stuff. How does this have anything to do with the setting that the movie is telling us we're in right now? This movie has no sort of structure. It's completely inconsistent with its setting. It's trying to do this one thing, but then it completely goes to the other thing, and it just doesn't seem to know what the hell it wants to do. It looks like it just threw these things all together and just called it a movie, and they didn't care because they thought it was just gonna be another stupid kids film. The story is boring. We've seen this kind of story before, where the character wants to persuade on something, but he can't do it because of these other obstacles getting in the way. We've literally seen this kind of story before. And not only that, but they keep throwing in all of these random plot twists and subplots out of nowhere. There's this one subplot about this evil wolf gang who wants to kidnap Bodhi, and then Bodhi wants to join this group of musicians or something to do with these stars, and they don't believe him. Ugh, the story is completely inconsistent, and it's so hard to follow. The voice acting is alright. I mean, there are some voice actors I really like, including Lewis Black, J.K. Simmons, and Eddie Izzard, but these voice actors are given little to nothing to work with, and the other actors I see barely know about them, and they don't really do that great of a performance. The animation is, again, just alright. It's not as bad as Norm of the North, considering that this movie actually has a lower budget, but it looks alright. Although I think the textures are a little bit lazy. Like, there's a lot of moments where it's raining, and the characters' textures don't even change. They don't look wet, they look exactly the same as they did before. Hell, even Norm of the North had wet textures. Also, most of the movie's pretty bland. I did like Eddie Izzard as his character, but for the most part, the other characters I could barely give a shit about. They were either boring or just kind of got on my nerves. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't have too much to say about Rock Dog, but to be honest, I can't blame myself. This was just a very boring movie that barely did anything new. I wouldn't call the movie bad or average, it's just pathetically bland and boring. The setting is constantly confusing me, the story bores me, the characters aren't that interesting. Honestly, in total, as I've said 100 times throughout this review, it's just a boring movie that's probably quickly going to be forgotten about.